ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, in my last talk, we had paid a lot of attention to the study of the 5th verse, where Maharishi Angirasha, the teacher of this Upanishad, explains to us that there are two types of knowledge that is worthy of being pursued. One is aparavidya and the other is paravidya. Aparavidya is not so sublime, na para apara, not so sublime learning, but it is indispensable. And the other is a learning known as sublime. And then he had mentioned the whole gamut of Veda Rashi, Veda Shabda Rashi, the whole gamut of words that constitute the Vedas. They are the storehouse of all learning, and of that there are two aspects, aparavidya and paravidya. And I told you that I'll pay a little more time on this subject during my last talk, because this is what we must know thoroughly, correctly, perfectly. Otherwise, our spiritual journey will be full of doubts and full of hesitancy, and because of doubt and hesitancy, we cannot have a rock-solid conviction to motivate ourselves unstoppably. Therefore, allow me to spend a little time on this verse again. I will now, having explained to you from the Upanishadic point of view, the study of scriptures point of view, let me now try to explain to you aparavidya and paravidya from the modern, contemporary, common-sensical understanding. Modern, contemporary, common-sensical understanding of what is aparavidya and what is paravidya. Friends, we know in this world of ours, in this human society of ours, a tremendous amount of research, tremendous amount of learning is going forward on stream to demystify the mysteries of external nature. To demystify the mysteries of external nature. All that gamut of knowledge which is directed towards demystifying the mysteries of external nature is aparavidya. Any learning appertinent to demystifying the mysteries of external nature, the cosmos and the world. The whole gamut of it falls under the concept of Apara-vidya. What is Para-vidya? Para-vidya is sublime knowledge. What is the sublime knowledge? Let us try to understand from common sense point of view. I am, with all my faculties, what are they? Pancha prana, pancha karmendriya, pancha gyanendriya, mana, buddhi, ahankara. 5 life forces, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Please don't bother. Various aspects of manifestation of life which comes out from breathing, inhaling and exhaling. That's a subject itself. Pancha prana, pancha karmendriya, hasta pada pani upasta payu. The arms, the palms, the hand in itself, the legs, upastha and payu. The 2 avenues of excretion. These are the pancha karmendriyas. What are pancha gyanendriyas? They are chakshu, karna, nasha, jihva, tvacha. The eyes, the ears, and etc., etc. The 5 avenues of perception. Pancha prana, pancha indriya, pancha karmendriya, pancha gyanendriya. 15 of them. Mana, buddhi, ahankara. That's it. We are in possession of all this in this body-mind complex. Who rules this body? I am. I rule this body. I know, I see, I work, I do, I feel, I convince myself, I motivate myself. I. I is the fulcrum around which the whole world is moving. And I am. I do not know who am I. Paravidya Vishaya, the subject matter of sublime knowledge is to find out who is this first person singular number of English grammar, I is. Aparavidya is external nature. Paravidya is to find out what is my true original nature. Now, the Upanishad puts in a very fine way. Aparavidya Vishaya has been mentioned 4 Vedas and 6 ancillary Vedangas. Let us stop there. Where Karma Kanda, the discipline of performance of disciplines of life, which assures you an eternal life in heaven with God. And what is the Paravidya Vishaya? Upanishad Bhava Rashi. The ideas that emanate from these words. And what are those words? Yaya Tadaksharam Adhigamyate. This is the definition of Paravidya, sublime knowledge. That mode of learning, that mode of self-education, by means of which you will be able to aksharam, immutable, abhidhigamyate. It's a typical grammatical usage. The nearest English translation is, this method of self-education, self-disciplined education, will lead you to be inseparable with the immutable absolute. Yaya, by means of which aksharam, the absolute, the immutable, adhigamyate. That is Sanskrit word. The Sanskrit synonym is abhinnataya prapyate. You achieve it without any sense of separateness between I am and the absolute is. I am the absolute is my true nature. Being and becoming, a process of education which will help me to inseparably, abhinnataya, bhinna means separation, abhinnataya means without any sense of separateness, I merge with the absolute. That is paravidya vishayam. That is paravidya vishayam. Let me repeat again so that once for all, why are we studying this Upanishad? We are studying the Upanishad from where I am to what is my goal. The whole gamut of education, both not so sublime but indispensable, and sublime if you need to be. If you need to expose yourself to that knowledge of paravidya and paravidya. And what is paravidya vishaya? What is the subject matter of that sublime knowledge? The subject matter of that sublime knowledge is that I am as I am today. By a process of self-disciplined education known as paravidya, with the help of that process of self-education, I take the path of being and becoming, a gradual evolution of my personality. I leave behind all my limitation bondages and I merge with the Absolute inseparably. What does that inseparateness mean? I put a glass of water in a huge jar of water. The water is covering the glass inside and out, but the glass is there. That is not abhinnata prapyate. You don't merge with it. That means now think of the glass is made of salt. And you put that glass, which is materially salt, into that water. Salt melts away. Water becomes water. Abhinnataya prapyate. The water in the glass has merged with water in the jar. Water of a river merges inseparably with the water of the ocean. You can't retrieve it again. You have found out your lost identity. That is, today what I am is a mistaken identity. Paravidya will teach you how that mistaken identity can be totally dissolved with the awareness of your true original nature. And then you say, today you say, I am Sridharananda. Tomorrow you will say, I am the absolute, immutable, Satchidananda Swarup, Atma, Brahman. I am everywhere. This is the goal of our study of Upanishad. So, having said so, he tries his very best. The author of this Upanishad, Rishi Angirasha, tries his very best how he could explain to us a nebulous idea of what is immutable, what is akshara, absolute immutable, with using such words, which helps us to develop a nebulous idea to start with. What is that absolute? A far-fetched imagination which is not yet tangible, concrete, but tangibility and concreteness comes to me when I am equating with my awareness of myself. This is, dear, the game plan. So now we know what is aparavidya and what is paravidya. Knowing who am I, what am I, by experiencing it, by dissolving the separateness of it with the divine, is paravidya vishaya, object of following paravidya, sublime knowledge. Let us concentrate on that now. Let us move on to the next verse. The next verse tries its very best to tell you as far as the words can. And I will deviate a little to prepare the basic groundwork. I have told you many a times that there is a inbuilt power in words, conventional words, or those sounds whose meaning is known to me. Language. Language is nothing else but infinite number of sounds, words. Words, when they are conventional, when I know the language, then that word, a sound, when uttered perfectly and correctly, it goes to that part of my brain, carried by a sensation of the nerves, and then it stimulates the brain, and the brain explodes into another type of energy known as idea or thought. As I told you, I say water, there is no water here, you nod your head and say, I understand, Swami, what you say. But if I use that word in a garbled manner, and you don't get the word correctly, incorrectly pronounced, you don't get it correctly, you don't know what it is. Water. So what's it showing? Come again, be clear. Until unless I pronounce it correctly, it will convey no meaning. So the words has a capacity, or sound, conventional sound, has a capacity to explode into an idea, into a thought, into a meaning of the word. The Upanishadkar here, Maharishi Angirasha, is taking help of this system. Jat tat, let us read the verse. Jat tad adresham, or grajam, or gotram, or varnam, achakshushotram, tatapani padam, nittam vibhum sarvagatam sushuksham, tatabhyam jat bhuta jonim dhira paripashyanti. Dhira means here, dhira, stable, poised. Where is his stability? His stability and poise because he has stabilized himself in the excellence, the majesty, the regality of his own being. I am that absolute. A realized soul who has reached that goal. Paripashyanti. Let us start from this operative clause. Dhira paripashyanti. Paripashyanti is another Sanskrit usage. Pashyanti is to see. Seeing leads to experiencing. I experience that experience of seeing you. I know, and that gives rise to my experience of knowing you present here. Paripashyanti means parisamantat pashyanti. What does it mean? There is no nook and corner in the whole cosmos, in the whole solar system or cosmos. There is not a nook or corner where he is not, and I see him everywhere. Dhira paripashyanti tat abhyayam. He sees, he experiences the presence of that immutable, absolute, everywhere. There is no nook or corner, no iota of space or time where he is not. He is everywhere. Thereby, what will be your realization when you perform your sadhana and you arrive to the goal? This will be your realization. I am everywhere. There is not a speck of space or an iota of time where I am not. This I am as of today has broken all its boundaries and has reached that awareness of the absolute, the eternal, the immutable soul. And how does he see? Bhuta Jonim. All that we see in diversity is resting on it. All that we see by mistake on a rope comes out of the rope. When I see the rope, they go back to the rope. Tat jalam shantu pashate. Tasmad jayate. It comes out of it. Tasmin liyate. Tat jalam shanta upashate. When does that experience arise? That experience arises slowly and slowly. You concentrate your mind on your Ishta with a name, with a form, with qualities and with utilitarian value. and slowly your depth of concentration goes deeper and deeper and deeper. You are aware of an eternal existence, and the world disappears. And when you come back again, the world appears. Tasmin jasmad jayate, tasmin liyate, tad jalan shanta upashat. There's a poem in English, translated English, originally written by Swami Vivekananda in Bengali. It is nomenclatured as Samadhi. And right from the beginning, as we are today, from that level of awareness, how by proper, disciplined education on Paravidya Vishaya, the subject matter being the sublime knowledge, I slowly and slowly get rid of all my bondages, and I be one with my true original nature. What I am, I am. Swamiji has described it absolutely lucidly. Any man with meanest common sense will understand. And I will request you find it out from Swamiji's works and read that poem. Hardly 6 or 8 lines. Anyway, dear, now let us come to it. At the last line he says, Tat abhyayam jat bhuta jonim dhira paripashanti. The wise people, the stable people, the realized soul, where does that stability come from? Because he has stabilized himself or herself on the awareness of the immutable soul, from which, because of my ignorance of my true nature of now, I see the diversity. All that diversity collapses into oneness. This is what happens to a realized soul. And what is that Akshara Vastu, that immutable one? What is that? Now listen, I read one by one word, and I'll explain to you. The first 2 lines says what it is not. Negative description. Jattat, that which is, pointing towards that, which is what? Adresham, is not an object of your vision. You can't see it. You can experience it, but you can't see it. Adresham, agrajam, seeing encompasses all 5 sense organs. It is not perceptible by your 5 sense organs. Agrajam, it is not holdable by your 5 karma organs, active organs. Hastapada pani upastapayu. 5 sense organs unable to hold it on. 5 karmendriyas cannot hold it on. It is agotram. It has no root. All right, sir, there is no tree. Let me see where is the root. It is rootless. It is all by itself. Abarnam, abarnaniyam. The Shabdarashi cannot specifically describe it. Abarnaniyam, that is indescribable, abarnam. And then he says, Achakshushotram. It doesn't have eyes. It doesn't have ears. Apadapanipadam. They don't have this body as such with pani padam upastapayu karmendriya. It has no body as such. It has no body as such, and all that is in my body with which I acquire experience, that is also not there. But it is nityam, it is eternal. Time cannot parcel it. Rather, we conceive the time on it because of our concept of change. Change in space and change in time, so we are conceived of change. Nityam means it is changeless, eternal. Vibhu, Vishesh Rupena Bhu. Vibhu means it is everywhere. There is not a speck of space where he is not. The very concept of space is on him. Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam. It permeates everything. The solidest of the solid, grossest of the gross granite is permeated by it. It is. Granite is. Isness of everything permeates everything. Isness. Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam permeates everything in the cosmos. Shushukshmam Sarvagatam Shushukshmam. It is subtlest of the subtle. You have to, by yourself, impose disciplined education on Paravidya. You will sharpen and hone your faculties, whereby you become capable of delimiting yourself. Identify yourself with that limitless existence. Shushukshvam. It is subtlest of the subtle. It is immutable. It is nityam. It is vibhum. It is sarvagatam. Shushukshvam. Therefore, it is abhyayam. Immutable. And how do you realize that? In deep samadhi. Jad bhuta jonim paripashyanti chira. Remember with this word the other quote from the Upanishad, Tasmat jayate tasmin liyate tad jalam shanta upashate paripashyanti dhira. So dears, he has used these words. Now when you try to read these words and develop an idea, what does it say? There is no grossness in it. Our body has so many parts and parcels. It is portionless. You can't divide it. It can't be cut into pieces in space and in time. Therefore, it is absolute, it is immutable, but it is my true original nature. And a Dhira Purusha has identified that original nature, and he looks at this diversity and says, it has all come out of it because of Maya. It will go down to it when I become Maya Atita, when I go beyond Maya. Therefore, Maya exists in Parameshwara, and Parameshwara is phenomenal and absolute. And when I go from Parameshwara my Ishtadev, to the Absolute, everything falls behind. I am and He is. I am He is me. Oneness between He and me. That is, there is abhinnataya gacchate, inseparableness. This is how he introduces the subject. So, dears, this shloka, many aspirants of real knowledge makes this shloka as a path of sadhana. How? Who am I? I do not have 5 sense organs. They don't belong to me. I do not have active sense organs. They do not belong to me. I do not have pancha prana, the 5 different life forces. I am what I am. I am Nityam, eternal, Sanatana, Vibhum. I am everywhere. There is no speck of space. How come? How do I think that? The isness is everywhere. Amness and isness. This is. First I say this is, then I say what it is. First I say something is there, then I do not know what that thing. I create diversity. I see a snake there, I see a toad garland there, I see a sprinkling of water there, I see a crack in soil there. That's what I see. But it is a row. So this shloka, Adreshavagrajam Avarnaniyam, cannot be described but experienceable. Not describable, experienceable. Agotram Avarnam Apanipadam and so on and so forth. Finally, Nitam Vibhum Sarvagatam Shushukshmam Tatabhyayam Dhira Tat Bhutajoni Paripashyanti. That is what it is. A realized soul sees that as Nitya, Vibhu, Sarvagata, Shushukshvam, Tad Abhyayam, Bhutajoni Paripashyanti. And he is established what is known as technically Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Prapancha Upashama Shantam. All this diversity has merged into that absolute reality. It has no existence whatsoever. And finally, I am experiencing that, and the last step is I am that. Aham Brahmasmi. Brahmakara karita chitta vritti udeti. Brahma akara akarita chitta vritti udeti. Tadatma bhavati. I become abhinnataya prapyate. I have merged with it without any separateness between me and my true original nature. This is from the philosophical point of view. Now, the teacher knows so much of philosophy is difficult for the student to understand, though he would say, you please try remembering this, so that your gross faculties, by your self-disciplined process of education, your faculties slowly and slowly get subtler and subtler and subtler. With those subtlest faculty, you can have a nodding experience of that in a remote manner. And the last stage is you merge with it. So we have heard the spiritual aspect or the philosophical aspect of this procedure. Now, he gives you a worldly example. He says that it comes out of it, it goes into it. Tad jalam tasmad jayate tasmin liyate. He has said so. Good enough. Do I have a concrete example? So all this flight of absolutism, the flight of imagination, can be calmed down. I look around the world and I find out an example. And as soon as that example is placed before me, I see that example and I learn concretely, tangibly, what is the philosophical input of the previous sloka. So, dear, he finds out an example. Now, let me again explain to you what is an example. Definition of an example. Jatra Lokika Parishakanam Darshanam Na Vyahanyate Sadrishtanta. That is a true example. Lokik is a learner. Parikshaka is a teacher. I find out an object where the teacher's viewpoint or perspective and the student's perspective coalesces, telescopes together. That is a perfect example. Jatra Lokika Parikshakanam Darshanam, perspective, na Vyahannate, does not contradict. Sadrishtanta. Here is a drishtanta being given. Drishtanta means an example where both of us agree. Let us read the shloka. Concrete, tangible example from the world of which all of us are aware. Jatha urnanabhi srijate grindhate cha jatha prithibhyam oshadhaya sambhavanti jatha satah purushat keshalomani tatha aksharat sambhavati iha vishwam. The last line, tatha. I have told you, as for instance, this is the conclusion. Tatha aksharat, from that immutable, this whole world with its diversity comes out of it, goes into it. In deep sleep, Shushupti, Pralaya Darshanat, pardon me for my Sanskrit uses. When you go to Shushupti, dreamless deep sleep, the world does not exist for you. The world has obliterated itself. Jagariteva punardarshanat. When you wake up, the world is there for you. From this example, the world is subject to its existence according to your perception. You see it, that's why it is. Had it been real, it would have existed in Shushupti also. But in Shushupti it doesn't exist. How can I call it real? Trikala abhadita jnanam satyam. That which does not mutate in 3 phases of time is reality. But this world doesn't exist to me when I am in deep sleep. Similarly, when I wake up, the world is again there. So what happens? The world has dissolved, but the ajnana has not dissolved. That is why I wake up after Shushupti and say, Sukhamam asapsam kinchit na vedisam. I have had a wonderful sleep, dreamless sleep, but I knew nothing. Difference between Shushupti and Samadhi is, here you say I know nothing, there you say I have known everything. That is the difference between Shushupti and Samadhi. So he says, Tatha, as an example I give you, Urnanabhi is a spider. Jatha, as for example, Jatha means as for example. Urnanabhi, a spider, Srijate, draws a thread, watches it. If it is not according to his understanding or he is not happy, he withdraws it, assimilates it. The thread of the web comes out of the spider, spider creates it, spider absorbs it, if it is not proper. Jatha, as for example, a spider spins its web. Srijate creates it, grinhate. He absorbs it if it not according to its taste. It comes out of it, it disappears into it. Jatha prithibhyam oshada sambhavanti. Jatha prithibhyam oshadhayo sambhavanti. Oshadhi is herbs, medicinal herbs. In Mother Nature, far away from habitation, herbs come out. Greenery is full of, the whole earth's surface is full of herbs and plants and air. They come, they stay for a while, they are seasonal and they wither away and go back to the earth. Compost. Jatha prithibhyam satah, that is naturally comes out, goes back. Then the third, this is a second example. Third example, Jatha Purushat Keshalomani. This hair of my head, I shave it off, comes up again. I shave it off, comes out again. The hairs, the body, comes off, falls off with age. I'm not as hairy as used to be. Just fall down, comes off, fall off. Sataha, by nature. Salakshana, bilakshana. The plant is different in character from Mother Earth, but belongs to Mother Earth. My hair is a part and parcel of the whole body. It cuts off, but it comes off. And The nearest example is the spider. Draws a thread, keeps it, watches it. I have seen a spider spinning its web after I read that. I waited for nearly 3 hours to see it. How it draws a thread, sits on the other corner, keeps on nodding his head, seeing whether the thread is right or not. Then he turns, creates another. And that is not to his liking. He withdraws again, creates again. And all is being absorbed in his body. All is being absorbed in the human body. Human body produces, you throw it away. The earth produces, it absorbs. Tatha, these 3 examples, the spider, Mother Earth, and human body, they grow and they absorb. Tatha aksharat. Sambhavati is possible. Iha Vishwam. This diverse world comes out of that immutable, goes back to that immutable. It is an example given for all of us so that abstract philosophical absolutism is brought down to our level of understanding. Let me read this shloka for you again, dear, and you will understand. Jatha urnanabhi srijate grindhate cha. As for example, a spider spins its web and absorbs it. He himself is alone. He doesn't need somebody else to help him. There is no other karana. He is only karana. No other cause. Jatha prithibhyam oshadaya sambhavanti. The earth from which the herbs come up, the earth into which the herbs go. A herb and the earth are different. They are 2 different things. Jatha satah purusha kesha lovani. Hairs and these body hair and head hair. They come and they go. They keep on producing. All these are examples. Salakshana, bilakshana. They need they don't need any other cause. Both Karan Karana and Upadan Karana, material cause and intellect cause, are both there. Similarly, from that immutable, the Nitya Vibhu Sarvagatam Sushukshmam, this whole universe with its infinite diversity comes up and goes into it. So, an absolute philosophical explanation being backed up by a worldly example. So that you now have a concrete idea, it is possible. It is possible in the world. Why can't Lord God of the universe do so? He does it with his Adya Shakati, Parama Prakriti, Mahamaya Swarupini. He does it with it. And Maya is not eternal as Ananta Brahma is. It is Shanta, with end. Maya Atita Avastha can be achieved, whereas Brahmatita Avastha is not possible. It's a puzzle in words. It's a contradiction in terms. So, dear, we have covered 2 shlokas, fundamentally very, very, very important for those students who really want to make their life worthwhile by pursuing the concept, who am I? What am I? And may the Divine help us to be so and to do so, to be and to become. Thank you, dears. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna